All right, today's video is something I think will be super useful for you. These are 10 reasons why Tampa might not be the place for you to move in 2023. Here we go. I'm Sam and this is the Living in Tampa channel, and we make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to Tampa. We're also licensed realtors here in the area, and we would love to hear from you and have a chance to earn your real estate business. Phone number and email are right there on the screen. I am the one that takes those calls and texts and emails. I would love to connect with you and see how we can help. So I started this YouTube channel in the beginning of 2021. Florida was super popular at the time. Tampa was super popular at the time, and that caused some things to change. So that brings us to the number one reason that Tampa might not be for you in 2023, and that's the shift in affordability. So Tampa often hovers right around the national average in terms of housing prices, in terms of cost of living, but that seems to be changing pretty quickly. Now, it's not becoming expensive really quickly, but it's not the affordable safe haven it once was. Really, to get a house for a family, and you probably want a pool down here, you've really got to spend over $450,000, $500,000 to get in an area with that space you need, with the pool, with decent schools. That's really quite a bit higher than the median home price, which is around $350,000. That median home price can be a little bit deceiving because there are so many small housing units here, whether that's townhouses, condos, villas, things like that, retirement style housing. That median gets a little bit skewed because of those things. Number two reason is competition. Competition in the real estate market down here is still pretty stiff. So we're under contract to buy a different house right now. We're moving a little bit further north, a little bit more space. And the house that we purchased needs pretty much renovated inside. There were 7 offers in the first weekend. So it's still a market with quite a bit of competition and quite a bit of interest, especially when you get to 4 bedrooms with a pool, with a bigger lot, or 4 bedrooms with a pool and a really good school nearby, especially a really good public school. And if you missed the previous video about the Lutz and Odessa area, those public schools are kind of the most loved public schools in the area, and there's a couple neighborhoods that really feed into those. I'm actually in one of those right now. It's called Villa Rosa. And one of the reasons why Villa Rosa is one of my favorite neighborhoods in that area is because of the trees and the open space in between everything. Really, most of the houses don't have neighbors behind them. That's kind of a nice feel. The next reason you may not want to move to Tampa in 2023 is shrinking lot sizes. So I have a few clients that are looking at new construction, and these lots seem to be getting smaller and smaller. First, they go down from 8,000 to 6,000, then they go down from 6,000 to 5,000. And a 5,000 square foot lot just doesn't leave you much space to be outside. Now, maybe you just got to let the dog out real quick and let him back in. You don't care about a pool. It could work, but it's pretty tight. And to get lots that small, they're having to clear out all the trees and bring in new trees afterward, and hopefully trees that don't disrupt the ground too much and affect your foundation, because they're gonna have to be pretty close to your house. The next reason that Tampa might not be a great option for you is because of the growing radius. So with all of this population growth, which actually isn't that much of a faster pace than Florida's used to, but Tampa is growing wider and wider, and it can't grow to the west, so it's growing in all the other directions. So what does that mean for you if you're thinking about moving here? It means you might be a little bit further from things than you planned on to find the house you want for the price you want. So that's just something to keep in mind, something we can help you think through when you reach out to us. Again, phone number and email are right there. Okay, number 5 reason is flood zones always changing. And this is just something that comes with living in Florida. Flood zones change all the time. They rezone, they change insurance requirements. Sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse. Okay, here's an example of what that means. So my flood zone got a little bit worse. My lender didn't really care, so they didn't make me have more coverage on my flood insurance. But my other insurance provider did care. They needed me to have more coverage on my flood insurance. So it does just change things. It makes things complicated. It's just something living so close to the water you just have to deal with. Not that it's a huge deal breaker, but it is just something that comes up every year. You're probably gonna have to think about, you're probably gonna have to shop for insurance and figure it out. And flood coverage is different than hurricane coverage. Hurricane coverage is included in your insurance, and that's the next thing. Insurance, homeowners insurance is always changing. A lot of this involves the state legislature trying to get insurance back into the state, trying to help consumers have a little bit more competition in this industry, because right now, the primary insurance provider in Florida is Citizens. This is a state subsidized insurance provider and they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars every year. They can't keep doing that, so they're doing things to like shed off customers, or doing things to get people to get used to paying more, all kinds of things. That company is called Citizens, and now they call, whenever they shed off customers like this, they call it depopulation. So it's the Citizens depopulation. Not a great turn of phrase. Okay, number 7 reason Tampa might not be for you. There's a big rainy season in Florida, really like May to October. What does that mean? It rains nearly every day during that stretch. It's also the season where it's super hot, so maybe you're inside more in the air conditioning and the rain's not really affecting you. But if you live lower, honestly, if you live anywhere, it's going to affect you because your grass is gonna be wet a lot of that season. Not that big of a deal. Put shoes on, but it's hot, so you end up wearing sandals and then you just get wet or muddy. It's just all these things. Every single one of these things is not a deal breaker. It's just something that's gonna change in your life if you move here. All right, next on the list, Tampa has a pretty small downtown. I'm gonna say Tampa has a small downtown and St. Petersburg has a small downtown. So if you're used to big cities, you know, New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Dallas, these kind of cities, the downtown of Tampa is gonna feel small. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it feels intimate. You can walk around, you can rent a scooter, you can get all over it pretty easily. Now, if Tampa and St. Pete were combined, it'd be quite a bit bigger, probably double the size of a downtown. Right now, Tampa downtown has gone through tons of rejuvenation. The port in downtown Tampa is the busiest port in the state. And that is a lot of industrial traffic, a lot of industry happening down there. All that industrial traffic made downtown Tampa not a very desirable area. But in the past 10 years, it has turned around dramatically. Now, Michelin star restaurants going in, luxury hotels, you know, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the NHL team that's actually really good every year lately, is right down there in the middle of downtown. There's a lot of energy down there. There's a lot of stuff going on. Awesome new luxury condos being built. So downtown is super intimate and fun, but it is pretty small. So if you're used to a big downtown experience where you have to like get a cab to go across, very different, very different. St. Pete, the same way. Okay, number 9 is traffic. Now, when I talk to you guys, you're often asking, is traffic actually that bad? No. If you're coming from somewhere else where traffic triples your drive time, it's not that bad. Traffic here is going to add 30 to 50% to your drive time during typical commutes. But there are just not that many roads to get to places here. So I'm in this Lutz area you see here, right here on the map, really close to the Interstate 589, which makes it super easy to get downtown. Super easy to get up north. That toll road's actually going to be extended all the way up to the north side of the state. So there are areas where traffic is not a big deal and access is pretty easy. We can talk about that when you call. But because most of the Tampa area was developed decades ago, like where I live right now, my house was built in '62 and it's like the newest house in the neighborhood. Over there, it's not thoughtful. A lot of that infrastructure is super old. There's way more people there now. There's way more activity there now, and it just isn't set up to handle all that. So those are dynamics. There's certain areas that have grown super fast, like Brandon and Riverview, and the infrastructure is just not quite there yet. Something to keep in mind. Okay, and the last reason why Tampa might not be for you in 2023 is new construction sprawl. Master plan communities going in one after the next along the north side of Pasco County, down to the south by Parrish and all these other towns. These communities are huge. They tear down everything. They build up a really nice community, and then it's just kind of this contained feel. That might not be your thing. It might be. But if you're looking at some of these charming areas around the Tampa area, those areas are not it. And those are just getting further and further out, which is kind of a point along with the growing radius. So all just things to work through, all just things to consider. We would love to help you work through all those. Give us a call, text, or email anytime. We'd love to see how we can help. Thanks for coming by.